Julian Kopeika, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky. December 24th, 1971. Christmas Eve, 30,000 feet above the Peruvian Amazon rainforest. Lanza Flight 508 is carrying 92 passengers and crew from Lima to Pucallpa. Among them, 17-year-old Julian Kopeika and her mother, Maria. They're heading home after Julian's high school graduation. The flight should take 1 hour. At 1 p.m., the plane enters a thunderstorm. Severe turbulence. Lightning strikes the aircraft. Then, the right wing explodes. The plane disintegrates in mid-air. 92 people, 2 miles above the Amazon jungle. No parachutes, no time to react. Julianne is still strapped to her seat, row 19F. She's falling, spinning. The jungle canopy rushing up to meet her at terminal velocity. She should die. Everyone should die. But 24 hours later, Julianne wakes up, alone, still strapped to her seat, in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. She has a broken collarbone, a concussion, deep lacerations, one eye swollen shut. But she's alive. The only survivor of Lanza Flight 508. And she's about to spend the next 11 days walking through the deadliest environment on Earth, alone, with no supplies, no map, no help coming. This is the story of the girl who fell 2 miles from the sky and walked out of the jungle to tell about it. Act 1. The Girl of Two Worlds, 1954 to 1971. October 10th, 1954, Lima, Peru. Julian Margaret Kopeika is born to 2 German zoologists, Hans Wilhelm Kopeika and Maria Kopeika. Her parents aren't ordinary scientists, they're pioneers. In 1968, they established Penguana, a remote biological research station deep in the Peruvian Amazon rainforest. Most children grow up in cities, suburbs. Julianne grows up in the jungle. From age 14, she spends her school vacations at Penguana. While other teenagers are at shopping malls, Julianne is identifying bird species, tracking animal movements, learning jungle survival. Her father teaches her, if you're ever lost in the rainforest, follow water downstream. All streams lead to rivers, all rivers lead to civilization. Her mother Maria is stricter, more cautious. She teaches Julianne to respect the jungle's dangers, venomous snakes, poisonous insects, predators, disease. The Amazon can kill you 1,000 different ways, her mother says. Never underestimate it. Julianne listens, but she's young, invincible. She can't imagine anything bad actually happening. She's a good student, smart, fluent in German and Spanish, loves biology. Of course she does, with parents like hers. Julianne completes her secondary education at a German school in Lima. She's 17, about to start university. December 1971. Christmas is approaching. Julianne and her mother plan to fly from Lima to Pucallpa, then travel overland to Penguana for the holidays. Her father is already there, preparing the research station. December 24, 1971. Christmas Eve. They're supposed to fly out the day before, but the flight was fully booked. They reschedule for the 24th. Lanza Flight 508. Departure, 11 a.m. At the airport, Maria is uneasy. She doesn't like flying through the Amazon during storm season. December is the worst time. Massive thunderstorms build over the jungle every afternoon. But they have tickets. Julianne wants to get home for Christmas. They board the plane. Lanza, Líneas Aéreas Nacionales Sociedad Anónima, is a Peruvian airline with a questionable safety record. Their planes are old, Maintenance is poor. But it's the only option. Julianne and Maria take their seats. Row 19, seats E and F, middle of the aircraft, over the wing. The plane takes off. 92 people aboard, 86 passengers, 6 crew members. The flight is smooth at first. Then, 25 minutes in, they enter a thunderstorm. Act 2. 2 miles of falling. December 24, 1971, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. The plane is at 21,000 feet, descending toward Pucallpa. But they're flying directly into a massive thunderstorm. Black clouds, lightning, violent turbulence. The pilot should divert, fly around the storm, but he's behind schedule. He decides to push through. The turbulence intensifies. The plane is shaking violently. Overhead bins pop open, luggage falls, passengers scream. Julianne looks at her mother. Maria's face is pale. She's gripping the armrest, knuckles white. Then, lightning hits the plane. A blinding flash. The right wing explodes. Fuel ignites. The aircraft starts breaking apart. Julianne hears her mother say, "Das ist das Ende." This is the end. Then, the plane disintegrates in midair. Metal tearing, wind roaring, people screaming. The fuselage splits open. Julianne is still strapped to her seat, row 19F. She's falling, spinning, the jungle canopy rushing up to meet her at terminal velocity. She should die. Everyone should die. But something incredible happens. Her seat, still attached to 2 other seats in her row, falls in a flat spin, like a helicopter seat. The rotation creates drag, slows her descent slightly. Then she hits the jungle canopy. The trees are dense, thick branches, layers of vegetation. Her seat crashes through the upper canopy. Branches break, slow her fall, each layer absorbing impact. It's like hitting a series of nets. Not soft, not even close, but not the instant death of hitting solid ground at 120 miles per hour. She crashes through 100 feet of canopy, then 50 feet of mid-story, then the understory. She hits the forest floor. And then, nothing. Act 3. Alone in the Green Hell. December 25th to 28th, 1971. Julianne wakes up the next morning, December 25th, Christmas Day. She's lying on the jungle floor, still strapped to her seat. It's dawn. She can hear birds, insects, the sounds of the rainforest. She tries to move. Pain explodes through her body. Her right collarbone is broken. Her right eye is swollen completely shut. She has deep cuts on her arms and legs. One sandal is missing. Her glasses are gone, lost during the fall. But she's alive. She unbuckles the seatbelt, tries to stand. Her legs work. Nothing seems broken below the waist. She looks around. Wreckage. Pieces of the airplane scattered through the trees. Luggage. Seat cushions. Personal belongings. She calls out, "Mother! Mother!" No response. Just jungle sounds. She searches the immediate area, looking for her mother, looking for other survivors. She finds nothing. No bodies, no movement, no sounds of other people. Later, she'll learn the horrifying truth. The other 91 people on Flight 508 hit the ground at full speed. They died on impact. Their bodies are scattered across 20 square miles of jungle. Julianne is the sole survivor, and she doesn't know it yet. She's in shock, concussed, but her scientist training kicks in. First, assess injuries. Her collarbone is broken but stable. Cuts are bleeding but not arterial. Eye is damaged but functional. She can walk. Second, find water. She remembers her father's words, "Follow water downstream." She searches for a stream, finds a tiny creek, barely a trickle, but it's flowing. She starts following it. She has no food, No water bottle, no knife, no matches. She's wearing a short-sleeved mini dress, not exactly jungle survival gear. One sandal, one working eye, a broken collarbone, and 11 days of walking ahead of her. Day 1, December 25th. She follows the creek. Walking is agony. Every step jolts her broken collarbone. Her bare foot is already getting cut up. She calls out periodically, "Help! Is anyone there?" No response, just jungle sounds. She searches the immediate area, looking for her mother, looking for other survivors. She finds nothing. No bodies, no movement, no sounds of other people. Later, she'll learn the horrifying truth. The other 91 people on Flight 508 hit the ground at full speed. They died on impact. Their bodies are scattered across 20 square miles of jungle. Julianne is the sole survivor, and she doesn't know it yet. She's in shock, concussed, but her scientist training kicks in. First, assess injuries. Her collarbone is broken but stable. Cuts are bleeding but not arterial. Eye is damaged but functional. She can walk. Second, find water. She remembers her father's words, follow water downstream. She searches for a stream, finds a tiny creek, barely a trickle, but it's flowing. She starts following it. She has no food, no water bottle, no knife, no matches. She's wearing a short-sleeved mini dress, not exactly jungle survival gear. One sandal, one working eye, a broken collarbone, and 11 days of walking ahead of her. Day 4, December 28th. The creek has become a stream, about 10 feet wide, flowing faster. This is definitely a major river. There have to be people somewhere along it. But she's been walking for 8 days and hasn't seen a single sign of human presence. She's starting to think she's going to die out here. Day 9, January 2nd. She can barely walk. Her infected arm is swollen, hot to the touch. The pain is constant. She collapses on the riverbank, considers giving up. It would be so easy to just lie down and let the jungle take her. But something keeps her moving. Stubbornness, survival instinct. Her father's words echoing in her head, follow the water. She gets up, keeps walking. Day 10, January 3rd. She sees something unnatural, a straight line cutting across the river. A boat, a small motorboat moored to the bank. She almost cries. A boat means people. People mean rescue. She follows the riverbank, finds a path, a trail cut through the jungle, recently used. She follows it, stumbles into a clearing. And there it is, a small shelter, a palm-thatched roof, a logging camp, temporary but clearly used by workers. There's no one there, but there's evidence of recent habitation, a fire pit, tools, supplies. She collapses inside the shelter. For the first time in 10 days, she's under a roof. She finds a jerry can, opens it, fuel, probably for the boat motor. She remembers her father treating an infected wound with gasoline. It kills parasites. She pours the fuel over her infected arm. The pain is excruciating. She screams, but she can feel the maggots writhing, dying, falling out of the wound. Then she passes out.
Hours later, she wakes to voices. 3 Peruvian loggers have returned to the camp. They're shocked. There's a teenage girl in their shelter, filthy, injured, barely conscious. In broken Spanish, she tells them, "I'm a survivor from the airplane crash." The loggers don't believe her at first. There was a plane crash? When? Where? She explains, December 24th, Lanza Flight 508. I fell from the sky. They look at her injuries, her condition, the impossibility of what she's saying. Then they believe her. They give her food, water, clean her wounds, let her rest. The next morning, they take her downriver in their boat, 7 hours to the nearest town with medical facilities. January 4th, 1972. 11 days after the crash, Julian Kopeika reaches civilization. She's the only survivor of Lonza Flight 508. Out of 92 people, she's the only one who walked out of the Amazon alive. Act 5. The Aftermath. 1972 to present. January 4th, 1972. Julian is taken to a hospital in Pucallpa. She's severely dehydrated, infected, malnourished. But she's alive. Her father, Hans Wilhelm, has been searching for her for 11 days. When the plane didn't arrive, he organized search parties, flew over the jungle in small planes. Found nothing. He'd given up hope. When he gets the news that Julian has been found, he doesn't believe it. It's impossible. No one could survive that crash. But then he sees her, his daughter, alive. They embrace, and that's when Julian asks the question she's been dreading. Where's Mother? Hans Wilhelm's face tells her everything. Maria's body is eventually found. She survived the initial impact, barely, but she was too injured to move. She died alone in the jungle, probably within a day of the crash. If Julian had found her, maybe she could have saved her. But Maria was miles away from where Julian landed. There was no way Julian could have known. The guilt will haunt Julian for years. The media descends. The girl who fell from the sky becomes an international sensation. Newspapers, television, everyone wants her story. Julian hates it. She just wants to be left alone, to grieve, to heal. But the attention doesn't stop. For months, she's in the spotlight. The crash investigation concludes. The aircraft was struck by lightning, igniting fuel in the right wing. The plane broke apart at 10,000 feet. Pilot error, flying into a known thunderstorm area. Lonza's operating license is eventually revoked. Too many safety violations. Julian returns to Germany, enrolls at the University of Kiel, studies biology. Of course. She wants to honor her parents' legacy. She doesn't talk about the crash. When people recognize her, she deflects, changes the subject. 1980s. Julian earns her PhD in zoology. Her specialty? Bats of the Peruvian rainforest. She returns to Peru, to Panguana, the research station her parents built, the place where she learned to love the jungle, where her mother taught her to respect it, where her father taught her to survive it. She rebuilds the station, continues her parents' research. For decades, she refuses to give interviews about the crash. It's too painful, too personal. But in 1998, filmmaker Werner Herzog contacts her. He reveals something shocking. He was supposed to be on Lonza Flight 508. He'd booked a ticket, but at the last minute, his flight was canceled. He took a later flight. If his flight hadn't been canceled, he would have died in that crash. This connection compels Julian to finally tell her story. In 2000, she appears in Herzog's documentary, Wings of Hope. She returns to the crash site, walks through the jungle again, shows where she landed, where she found the creek, where she walked. It's cathartic. Painful, but necessary. 2011, Julian publishes her memoir, When I Fell from the Sky. She's now in her 50s, a respected scientist, the director of Panguana Research Station. She's spent her entire adult life studying the rainforest, the same rainforest that killed her mother, the same rainforest that somehow let her live. She says in interviews, "The jungle isn't cruel. It's indifferent. It doesn't care if you live or die. It just is." Today, Julian still works at Panguana, still conducts research, still lives part-time in the Amazon. She's the girl who fell from the sky. And she chose to spend her life in the place that almost killed her. That's not Stockholm Syndrome. That's coming to terms with trauma by understanding it. Closing reflection. Final 2 minutes. What are the odds of surviving a 2-mile fall from an exploding airplane? 0. Effectively 0. What are the odds of surviving 11 days alone in the Amazon rainforest with no supplies? Also 0. And yet, Julian Kopeika did both. How? Luck played a role. The way her seat fell, the flat spin that slowed her descent, the dense jungle canopy that absorbed her impact, the fact that she landed near a stream instead of in a swamp or on solid ground. But luck alone doesn't explain walking 11 days through the jungle with infected wounds, a broken collarbone, and no food. That takes something else: knowledge, training, mental fortitude. Juliane survived because her parents had prepared her, not for a plane crash, you can't prepare for that, but for the jungle. She knew to follow water downstream, knew which insects were dangerous and which weren't, knew to leave the maggots in her wound because they were preventing gangrene. Most 17-year-olds in that situation would have panicked, made fatal mistakes, drunk bad water, eaten poisonous plants, given up. Juliane did none of those things. She survived because she was competent and because she refused to quit. But here's what I find most remarkable. She went back. After losing her mother, after 11 days of hell, after trauma that would break most people, she went back to the jungle, made it her life work, her home. That's not just survival, that's transcendence. She could have spent her life hating the Amazon, blaming it for her mother's death, avoiding it forever. Instead, she embraced it, studied it, protected it. She turned her trauma into purpose. There's a lesson there. Not about surviving plane crashes. Hopefully none of us will ever need that. But about facing the things that scare us, the things that hurt us, the places where we lost something irreplaceable. You can run from them, spend your life avoiding them, let them define you through absence. Or you can do what Juliane did. Walk back into them, understand them, make peace with them. The jungle didn't kill Julian Kopeika. It tested her, and she passed. And then she spent the rest of her life studying it, learning from it, teaching others about it. She fell from the sky and chose to land softly in the place that broke her fall. That's not just survival. That's wisdom.